Hi, good evening. Sorry about the delay. We'll call this meeting to order at 7:21. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Amparona.
Here.
Councilmember Tucker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Here.
And Mayor Obeso Martinez.
Here.
And Councilmember Burnworth is absent for the record.
Okay, and will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Stacy, will you lead us?
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
There are no adjustments to the agenda.
City Attorney?
We were not able to complete closed session earlier before the meeting, so we'll be going back in at the end and we'll be reporting out at the conclusion of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment. If you wish to address the city council concerning any item within the city's council's jurisdiction, please raise your hand and be acknowledged by the mayor. At that time, state your name and address for the record. The mayor reserves the right to place a time limit of 3 minutes on each person's presentation. Did we receive any by email?
No public comment via email.
Okay. Mr. Roush?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. We're very happy that the council has decided to give us a settlement proposal on our issues, and we're very anxious to continue negotiations in that regard. Nevertheless, we have gathered sufficient signatures to call a special election for the proposal that we've advanced for the Mayfield Community Facilities District. Those have been submitted to the city clerk. And of course, if we can settle, there'll be no need for a special election. And we hope that we can work this out. So we're optimistic, and we hope that things can go forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. A1, the presentation and discussion of the draft environmental justice element outline, including a determination of whether specific areas of the city should be designated as disadvantaged. And this is with Matt Gelman? Okay.
Hello, Mayor and council members. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It should, yeah.
Hannah, would you like to get things started for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Hannah Stelmakovich, and I'm with the Institute for Local Government. Just wanted to make sure the presentation is going. Matt, would you like me to share my screen, or you're sharing it? I have it ready too. Oh, here you are. Great. And we're here to talk about environmental justice element development, specifically this existing conditions report. On the next slide, you're going to see our faces. As I mentioned, I'm Hannah Stelmakovich with the Institute for Local Government. Our statewide nonprofit is working with the city of Imperial and providing flexible technical assistance. And Matt, I will let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, great. Pleased to be here tonight to present on the EJ Existing Conditions Report to you all. My name's Matt Geldman. I'm with a consulting firm, Ascent Environmental, and I'm Senior Urban Planner. I helped oversee the preparation of the Existing Conditions Report for environmental justice. Going to give a quick preview of our work so far and turn it over for any discussion and questions that you may have. Going to start with what is environmental justice. Within the government code, California government code, it is defined as the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of people of all races, cultures, incomes, and national origins with respect to environmental laws, regulations, and policies. So very broad definition there. The environmental justice element was required with the passage of Senate Bill 1000 in 2016, and it requires cities and counties to look to see if they have disadvantaged communities as defined under California law, and if so, to incorporate EJ policies within their general plan. This can be done as a standalone element of the general plan, similar to a land use element or a housing element that you may be more familiar with. EJ elements do not need to be standalone. They can include integrating EJ related policies into your existing elements. So there's different approaches for meeting this requirement. And there are defined policies and requirements that need to go into an EJ element in order to meet state law. State law does, as I mentioned, require you to look to see if there are disadvantaged communities within the area covered by your general plan. State law defines two ways of identifying disadvantaged communities. These are the primary ways defined in state law, but the state, through what used to be known as the Office of Planning and Research, which is now the Land Use and Climate Institute. I forget what the I stands for. They changed their name. Please excuse me. But they are responsible for providing guidance on what should go in an EJ element. And one of the things I want to convey to you that they do really emphasize is local customization of the process for designating EJ communities. The focus of our report is looking at data from a variety of sources and looking at environmental indicators. The primary tool that we looked at and is identified in state law is prepared by Cal EPA, and it's called Cal EnviroScreen. There are different versions. They've continued to update it. And you see a map here on the slide showing the indicator scores that represent a broad mix of environmental and social indicators to help identify if there are environmental justice issues and disadvantaged communities within census tract. These are census tract based indicators. And you can see the census tracts are split within the northern part of the city and the southern part of the city. The northern part of the city does have an indicator score of 76 in Cal EnviroScreen, which is above the threshold for a disadvantaged community, where the threshold is 75. Again, representing a broad mix of indicators through a methodology defined by Cal EPA. The other part to mention here is the low income and populations. Our report did not identify any low income groups or census tracts by census tract overall relative to the median income in the county or the state. So an important finding out of our report. Again, we looked at a number of other data and indicators to look at different environmental justice issues, but I will continue on with the presentation. The policy requirements for environmental justice element as outlined in state law include policies to reduce pollution exposure and health risks. Looking at air quality in particular, they require you to look at and provide public policies related to public facilities, food access, safe and sanitary homes, physical activity. There's a large emphasis on civic engagement and identifying disproportionately or underrepresented groups that may exist within the city, and potentially prioritizing improvements for any areas identified as disadvantaged. So those are the requirements of what would go into an EJ element. We are at the beginning of our process. I can touch on the EJ development side here and then maybe turn it back over to you, Hannah, to touch on public engagement. Again, public engagement is a big part of this process. On the technical side, we have published an EJ existing conditions report. It's on the city's website, outlining a number of data and describing the requirements of EJ elements. And we're working to develop an outline and policy framework that will turn the existing conditions data into policies if that's the direction we receive from you all tonight after we conclude our presentation. So from there, we can continue on to prepare a draft EJ element and bring that forward for additional consideration. Hannah, I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit about community engagement.
Thank you. And we are doing this process, of course, in close partnerships with the city and with the community. Specifically, we have recruited advisory committee that is consists of about 13 participants. We have different mix of people, youth, folks a little older, a little younger, represented different groups, a few folks from outside of Imperial because they're friends of Imperial. They want to be involved in the care. We also has conducted the first survey and promoted that at the tabling events and via social media and cities outreach channels. So community has been involved, specifically through the monthly advisory committees where provided further feedback and suggestions on what pockets of Imperial might be considered disadvantaged communities and overall suggestions for improvements and whatnot. And as you can see on the slide, if you can see it, also other events are also plugged in if we continue with this process, including those monthly advisory committee meetings, another survey to ask community to help us prioritize those strategies, one-on-one interviews with the community members, and definitely public comment opportunities as it goes to the cons. So this concludes our presentation. We wanted to provide the overview of what are we working on, what are we doing, how community is involved, what are the next steps on the process, and the most importantly, we wanted to share the high-level findings from the existing conditions reports where, as Matt mentioned, it's right on that threshold of environmental justice community. It's not clearly defined by data, but as Matt emphasized, the guidelines from the state is also use local processes and local knowledge and local data to make this determination for disadvantaged communities. Matt, anything else to add?
No, just we welcome any discussion, feedback, and questions that you may have as we continue with the process of preparing an EJ element and working with staff to do so.
Any questions?
Yeah. If I may ask, on your matrix here that you have, the disadvantaged communities defined, we're off by 1 point, right? But you got City of El Centro highlighted. I know that we are right on the top of it. What goes into identifying that these areas are or have areas that are at risk, or you would say?
Yeah, so I can speak to that. I don't know if we want to pull the map back up. I'm happy to do that. But as you indicated, the majority of the city is in a census tract that extends beyond the city boundaries. That's the way the geographic unit of the US Census is developed. And the indicators are tied to census tracts. So the northern part of the city is 1 point above the threshold. The southern part that does share a census tract with the city of El Centro does have a lower score. I'm not sure what it is exactly off the top of my head. It's a 62 for the lower census tract in the southern half of the city. Again, that includes part of
But we don't know what makes those numbers change.
I can look at specific factors. The census tract to the north does have some cleanup sites indicated within the census tract, some groundwater threats, hazardous waste. One of the highest things that increased that score was impaired water bodies as well. I think those are the rivers on the edge of the census tract that really do not affect the city of Imperial itself. On the other side of the census tract to the south, some of the things we saw were hazardous waste, cleanup sites, again, impaired water bodies. Pesticide use was also a issue of concern, as well as some air quality factors as well. So that's a representation of some of the factors that scored higher and went into that overall score that I reported on in the presentation.
I guess I'm a little confused because the southern part of our city has a fuel farm, has a old fertilizer plant has a bunch of cleanup sites and yet scored a 62. And the other side is all farmland.
Yeah, and I don't know, again, these census tracts are larger than the city itself and represent a broad mix of indicators. One of the things we tried to do with our report is get beyond Callan virus screen itself and look at what are the issues that may be of concern when we're talking about environmental justice in the city of Imperial. Again, I'm in San Diego here. You know your city better than I do. And so we're just looking at data and indicators here from kind of the state perspective and what databases we have available to us. Some of the things that we highlighted in our report that are of concern, I think air quality was one of them as a regional issue and an issue that may have an impact on health outcomes, which were showing up in the indicators, particularly related to asthma and cardiovascular health. Some of the other indicators I mentioned that we do highlight: pesticide, water and groundwater pollution, and localized issues related to that. One of the big ones that I think we also heard a lot through the surveys and community outreach was extreme heat and temperatures being a big factor that also can have an issue related to health, of course. And yeah, we did also note a number of other industrial uses, uses in proximity to the airport, for example, as well. So we tried to drill down on specific issues and talk about those.
And if I may just quickly jump in, and that's what state also recommends, in addition to looking at the statewide indicators and data such as Callan virus screen, part of that existing conditions report process is looking at those more localized knowledge, localized data, including qualitative data, what we're hearing from the community, what you're bringing up with that facility on the south part of the city, and all this kind of background research and local data also helps to make the determination whether the city or jurisdiction wants to designate their communities as environmental justice community, despite the fact that Callan virus screen, we're right there, but we're not quite right there.
Thank you.
I just had another question. One thing I haven't heard mentioned is about the airport. Is the airport runway considered part of this?
Staff may be able to speak to some of the planning efforts related to the airport that already exists now. That includes the airport's land use compatibility planning that I believe is part of the general plan already. Some of the things we identified were, of course, that it can be a hazard. There's localized air quality issues related to the airport potentially, and then some localized pollution in the groundwater and contamination sites that are registered with the state Department of Toxic Substances Control. I believe that are known issues and cleanup sites in proximity to the airport.
Is noise considered in this? Because there's definitely a noise element to it also.
We did not look at noise as an environmental justice issue. That is a part of the general plan already when we're talking about requirements from the state and what's already in the general plan. And I think as you're considering any potential actions related to designation or developing policies, I think it is important to acknowledge, we're not starting from zero. You have a good start. I mentioned, for example, safe and sanitary homes. Your housing element is already addressing a lot of environmental justice related issues because the state has already required those to be included in that element. So we would want to build on that, and if we needed to address any other issues related to housing, add on top of that, just as an example. But I think related to the airport would be similar, and noise as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Very good. All right, moving on to consent agenda I will ask B5, we're gonna vote on all of them, but there is somebody that would like to report, and that would be Larissa. I think she's on Zoom regarding B5. So consent agenda, all items appearing under the consent agenda will be acted upon by the city council with one motion without discussion. Should any council member or other person request that any item be considered separately, that item will be taken up at the time as determined by the mayor.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda holding B5.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Please vote. I'm going to abstain, given that I'm on the warrants.
Motion carries 3-0 with one abstain.
Is Senator Padilla's office available for B5?
Hello, good evening, Mayor and members of council. Larissa de la Torre on behalf of Senator Steve Padilla. Happy and thank you for placing this item on consent and for considering a letter of support for SB 887 and 886. And I am happy to answer any questions. So SB 886 is the Data Center Ratepayer Protections Act. As artificial intelligence and cloud computing continue to expand, so does the demand for large-scale data centers. These facilities require substantial electricity and major transmission and grid infrastructure investments. And the U.S. Department of Energy estimates data centers could consume up to 12% of total U.S. electricity by 2028. So nearly the triple 2023 levels. SB 886 would require the Public Utilities Commission to establish a tariff to ensure that transmission and grid infrastructure investments needed to serve large data centers are fully recovered from data center operator. So this ensures that residential and small business ratepayers are not responsible for subsidizing large-scale infrastructure upgrades while still allowing responsible economic development and continued progress towards California's clean energy goals. SB 887 establishes clear environmental, energy, and community standards for data center development in California. Data centers operate continuously and often rely on backup diesel generators, and studies referenced in the bill materials note significant public health impacts and rising environmental costs associated with this growth. Additionally, California data centers water consumption doubled between 2019 and 2023. So SB 887 would clarify data centers are not automatically considered ministerial or exempt from CEQA, require full cost recovery of grid infrastructure investments, require zero carbon energy and storage standards, require water efficient or recycled water use, and require community benefits and prevailing wage standards. And projects that meet rigorous environmental standards may also qualify for accelerated CEQA litigation timelines through the Environmental Leadership Development Projects certification process. And this measure establishes consistent statewide standards to ensure that development occurs responsibly, transparently, and in a manner that protects community and the environment. So together, SB 886 and SB 887 are about cost responsibility, environmental safeguards, and thoughtful economic development. And we respectfully request the City of Imperial's support. Thank you for your time.
Any questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate the help and the leadership of our Senator Steve Padilla. I'll entertain a motion for B5.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to C1, public hearing to discuss the vacation of the public right-of-way portion of O Street between 2nd Street and 3rd Street. as recommended by the Planning Commission. I'll open this public hearing at 7:46. Mr. Mora.
Good evening, council. Before you use an item to vacate a portion of Oak Street between Second and Third, as you may already know, this item was approved for the intent to vacate on February 4th. We didn't receive any opposition. We noticed this in the newspaper. We noticed that within 300 feet of the project site, and we haven't received any opposition for the abandonment of this portion of the street. At this time, staff recommends approval, and I'll stand for any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the council? I do believe we have a public comment by Mr. Roush.
Yeah, we have to oppose this proposal because we think there's an insufficient environmental analysis that's been conducted at this location. The report that has been submitted indicates that any traffic that was on O Street is going to be diverted to P Street. The corner of 2nd and P Street is one of the most congested, impacted intersections in the city of Imperial. As you may know, that is the only way that a citizen can get into the neighborhoods that are called the Mayfield area. If you want to go to the south, you can't go anywhere. You want to go to the east, you can't get out. The only way, hundreds and hundreds of homes, even on the narrow 32 feet wide streets that are far in the east, the only way they get out of that entire neighborhood is along 2nd Street to P Street. In the morning, when folks want to get their kids to school, that P Street, the 2nd Street backs up from P Street almost all the way to Brighton. We own properties north of Farmington between P Street and Brighton. And we wanted to build a house, even if we paid all of the past due penalties and interest and CFD assessments, build a house at the corner of Brighton and Farmington. We were not allowed to do that because it would create an unacceptable congestion at the corner of 2nd and P Street. And now the council in its own report says that it's going to divert all the traffic that would have been on O Street, is going to divert it now to 2nd and P Street at the very location where we can't build because it's overly congested. And here the folks are saying, that's not a problem. There's no problem with diverting more traffic onto P Street. That's an inconsistent holding that the planning department has for us wanting to build one house and adding one family to the traffic. But now we say it's okay to close down O Street and any traffic that's on O Street and divert it to the 2nd and P Street, but we can't put one family for the same reason of ignoring this issue of congestion at this location. Now, we have advanced, as you know, a proposal to build 4th Street on our own nickel, to build 4th Street, so alleviate all of that traffic congestion out there. And that proposal has not been accepted by the city. But we can't build one house because of the congestion at 2nd and P, and now you want to close down O Street and divert all the traffic right to 2nd and P Street. I think it's inconsistent. I think your environmental analysis is inadequate, and I think that approval of this proposal would invite CEQA litigation. I want to comment that we love the trust company there that's got this proposal that wants to perform. We want to buy all of the trusses on the houses that we want to build. We want to buy it from this company. So we support this company, but not at the expense of impacting the over-congested location that should have been solved 20 years ago if the city had kept its promises in its community facilities district and not given a waiver to the developer for 14 years that he never paid any taxes, and then put all the burden on us to pay all of his back taxes, penalties, and interest. We think that this is not completely thought through. There's a very difficult problem at this location. We've come forward for years offering our solution to this, and we think that to approve this without the environmental clearance and environmental review that was required is improper. That's our position.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Real quick question. Have you had a chance to drive O Street?
Have I had a chance to look at O Street?
To drive O Street?
I go over there because I bought construction equipment
No.
over there.
Have you had a chance to drive O Street?
It's just I know, it's just a tiny street.
But there's no street, that's just a dirt lot.
That's right. But it is a traffic component that's saying here that this impact does not affect, that any traffic would be diverted onto P Street. It says it in the report.
The unfortunate side is that street has never had traffic.
Your report says you're diverting traffic onto P Street. So maybe you want to amend your report.
Well, maybe we'll have to amend the report, but that street has never had traffic.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay?
I will close this public hearing at 7:52.
I want to make sure that you know if you do want additional feedback from the planning department or from the planning commission to address this, you certainly could continue it to the next meeting, so you can have a more robust discussion about it and the findings can be updated, or you certainly can discuss it now and make that determination this evening. So it's up to you.
Questions, comments, concerns?
So, Mr. Mota, is this something we can amend?
We potentially could amend the staff report.
Let's amend it. So we'll pull it for now.
And I just want to add also the determination of CEQA. It's part of the report. Just as
Yes.
We'll take another look at it and double check it with the former paperwork that we've done. And then just for the clerk, we'll continue it to the next meeting, which is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. At what time? 7? 7:15 or whatever you normally do. Yeah. So if you guys can just vote on the continuance, sorry.
I'll entertain a motion for the continuance, please.
Make a motion on that.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second.
Yep. Okay, Councilmember Amparano?
Yes.
Councilmember, I apologize, Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza?
Yes.
Sorry. Councilmember Tucker?
Yes.
And Mayor Obeso Martinez?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right.
Awesome.
Moving on. D1, approve change order 2 for the Eaton sewer line replacement project presented by Ms. Guerrero.
Mayor, council members, the item you have in front of you is a request to approve change order number 2 for the Eaton Sewer Line project. The request is for $150,000. It's to cover additional construction activities associated with the installation of the pump station and its full functional operations to ensure that it's functioning properly. The change order for the amount would be in a time and materials basis, so we would only actually be paying out what we're technically getting in terms of labor and material. So, again, the total's for $150,000, time and materials. We recommend to approve the change order as it allows us to get the pump station operational. So I'll stand for any questions.
I have a lot of questions.
I figured.
I know. And one of them comes with this. In your third paragraph, you write, as a complete assembly drawings were not available to perform the precise quantity takeoffs, but yet we have a change order for $150,000 that we don't know what we have. I drove the site today. All it is a 16-foot concrete manhole. We have no infrastructure, we have no power, we have no water, we have no fencing, we have nothing. These $150,000 are not going to do it. On the 62 or 64 day
64.
turnaround that we have, I know we can't move power. So I feel at this point that looking at this project the way it is, it's gonna fail in 64 days. Because the planning, I don't think it's there, honestly. $150,000, do we know what kind of pumps we're getting? Do we know how many we need? Do we know, are we gonna, how much power are we gonna need? I started looking at that site today, and I talked to Mr. Morita about this. It's just a manhole. It's all we have. That is the project that's cost us what, 5 mil?
No, this one originally was we had an estimated amount of 2.5 million.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
And
My
right now,
numbers
even with the
were off.
change order, we're under that 2.5. And I am aware the location itself was kind of just a big manhole at the moment. But that's because we need to bring in the pump station, and it's come to a halt at this point because we don't have the pump station. So we do understand that we're going to need the conduit, the electrical, gas lines, water lines, and that's where the 150,000 is coming in. And we had one of our construction management engineers do an estimate. They're within 5% of what the actual total is.
Okay.
So that work is going to be coming after the pump station's in. So right now, we didn't have them build a wall. We didn't have them do any additional placement in the sense that we might have to tear it down because we don't know exactly what the pump station.
So that's gonna come after?
Yes.
So it'll
and
be
the
another
pump-
change order.
We're hoping not. Because right now we still have monies left over from the contingency. We're preparing that this is going to cover that additional that needs to come in. So we do have the proposal for the pump station, which is, I believe, from Grouper or Grupper. I'm most likely saying that incorrectly. But we do have their original of the pump station, the portion that it was coming with, but not the additional connections that were going to be needed. So that's where we're at with the 150,000.
I think the concern was the build out without the complete assembly.
Yeah.
And, it's like piecemealing something together after the fact. And so maybe if we can come to a consensus of, okay, this is exactly check, 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 we still need X, Y, and Z. I think that's the issue. So that we don't have to keep coming back and change orders. Yes, it's still within the 5%,
That I get.
but it's piecemealing though.
Yeah, it's just, going back.
That's what we don't want.
Yeah.
We're putting the cart before the horse. We've got the cart all nice, got rims, tires, but even put a stereo in it.
Yeah, and we're working on that. And we
We don't have-
understand it wasn't done ideally. However, the original was to do just the sewer line, which was a 21-inch sewer line, and then it came about to put in that pump station because the overall idea that we want is to take the Clark station offline because the Claypool one's going to go ahead and accommodate for that sewer capacity that we're getting. So that's why we also needed to extend that wet well to a 12-foot compared to the 6-foot that we have to accommodate the line, the capacity and everything. So there is an additional,
So is that one operational right now?
the Clark,
No, the new one.
we don't have the new one in just yet. That's the thing.
Just all we have is a hole.
All we have is the hole. Yeah, we have the wet
What
well,
about the
but
sewer line that we have on 8?
so the Clark station's still functioning, and so is the Claypool one that we have. We haven't pulled any of them offline. So we still have our stations up and running until the new one comes in, and then it's operational. Once we have the full 100% capacity that it is operational, then we're pulling the other one offline. We won't take anything off until we know for sure that we have everything running.
I know you inherited this project.
Right.
So
Yeah, we don't.
this is
well,
not beat up
we
to nothing.
understand. Just looking at this from this side and not knowing the entire project, just what we learned from the meetings and things that we get is what we're looking at. And so we're looking at, we have all this. When I'm going back.
I know it
just
doesn't
looks
look pretty at the moment. It looks like nothing right now. I do understand that. But it's not to say that we aren't working in the background and trying to ensure that what we're asking for will go ahead and cover.
Well, 64 days will put us, if we approve it today, when do we start? When's the
We're-
clock start?
So we're looking to have at least the pump station from what we're being told in March, and then the overall project would be done by the end of April. Again, I know that's with unforeseen situations or issues. We're looking at a completion of end of April.
Well, we know the fair's here, so we'll get some rain and probably some wind.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna start getting people to park up there during the fair.
The parking on next to it. Oh, look
So I
at
know
this. Let's jump
We
on
need to make
parking
sure
lot.
we mark that all off like we do every year.
We'll put no parking signs, everything around it.
We do it every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it every year, but, I don't know, I just think we need to, when we start doing projects this big, this size, I think we need to sure we have a better plan. And I think that's what we had the conversation today. That we can do that. This way it doesn't hit us that hard.
Yeah, understood.
I'll entertain a motion. Don't everybody vote at once.
James has been quiet.
James, would you like to?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, James. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you for the second, Miss Stacy. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to D2, approve the surplus and disposal of public services equipment that is inoperative.
Mayor, council members, the item you have in front of you is for approval to dispose of equipment that is inoperative and irreparable. We have out there two pieces of, one's equipment and one's kind of material. We have a PCMS board, which is our portable changing message sign that, you know, rest in peace. It got hit, so it is.
Did we find out who hit that?
I believe no, I'm looking at Chief over there. I'm not even an answer for law enforcement at this moment.
Like you just plow down a
Yeah, it
board
was.
and just run away. Okay.
So that's one of the pieces. Yeah. That's one of the pieces of equipment, and the other one is just, it's a warning light that we had before. I believe it was off of 86 or Nickel. So that one was now, was that right? Off of Nickel? That we now took down, and the lights and stuff aren't functioning, so we kind of want to just surplus that material. I do want to clarify with the item that we have, which is the PCMS board, we are working with HR in terms of insurance. We're just requesting in the forefront that once that process is done, we already have approval to dispose of it properly. So we won't have to come back to request that.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns?
Make a motion.
I have a motion
And a second.
First and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, D3, to approve the, I'm going to say it wrong, Haker equipment to provide repair services for the 2013 Kenworth Vector truck. Ms. Chanel.
Me again. So, Mayor, council members, you have another item in front of you requesting approval for us to have Haker Municipal go ahead and repair our 2013 Kenworth Vector. The services that we're requesting are so that way we're proactive with the unit. It did get some wear and tear as it was the only unit we had when it was originally purchased, and it was heavily used by water, wastewater, and streets. The maintenance, and Parks has used it a few times. And so the maintenance that has been done to it at this point was more operational fixes, just keep it in the fleet, keep it going, so we wouldn't have to pull it out since we didn't have a backup. At this time, we now do have the backup, which is our Peterbilt. So we had a 360 inspection done of the unit, and what's in front of you for that, I believe it's the 45,000, is an all-inclusive of the components that would get it to expand its life to another 5 years or so, once that maintenance is done and we keep up routine.
So I have a question and an issue maybe with the verbiage, but I find it hard to believe that during its service life, a full 360 inspection has not been conducted, resulting in deferred maintenance. So this is a 2013. If you look at it below, it says 2012. Our cars get maintenanced. I would hate to think that we spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know how much it is, and it's not being maintained properly. So is that true? It has not had any inspections since?
If I can recall correctly, we haven't had full, complete inspections. I know when Haker has come down, it has been more of an obvious fix. If we knew something was broken, that's what they did. It was more so get it back up and running. We can't have it out of the fleet. Right now, we actually have the time to kind of take it out of the fleet for the 2 weeks that it might need, since we do have the backup.
Like we all have cars, right? If you go get your oil changed, they're always trying to upsell you something. So I find it a little difficult to think that they didn't recommend an inspection or a full inspection or whatever it is that you do for these giant trucks. You guys can educate me more on that. And now we're going to pay 45,000. Okay, yeah, we need it, but it's just proper maintenance, right?
But there's a lot of the hydraulic stuff and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the front reel, it's the hydraulics, it's the safety bars.
pumps and stuff.
Yeah, this one is all inclusive of everything. If we, piecemeal is obviously not the right word, but if we wanted to take the additional components, it would be a lower cost, but this right here gets us, back kind of in full pretty service of the unit, and then we would maintain it.
And so the new one will be serviced or looked at how often? What is the recommendation on these?
Are you speaking about the unit that we have
The-
here? We could,
The new
I would,
one? Yeah.
I can work with Haker to see if we can actually get some kind of program in place, if we want to do an annual for them to come down to take a look at it so we can stay on top of
I
it.
think she's talking about the Peterbilt.
Oh, the Peterbilt's coming up next. That one had its 360 inspection also. We had them come down and do both of them, so we're just waiting on
Okay.
potential numbers for that one. So that one will probably come before you also at some point.
And you know, I think that's what stuck out with me the worst, kind of like Mayor Ido Bessel, here was saying that there'd been no inspections conducted, and so to me, some of the things that I've seen is kind of disturbing. Okay, when somebody gets a flat tire on our tractor truck and is riding it across the railroad tracks on a rim, and then drives it back across the railroad tracks back to M Street to park it so that it can get the tire fixed on the same rim. That to me is disturbing. I hadn't said anything because whatever, I didn't feel. But now I see that this is happening to these vehicles. The new one cost us over $400,000. This is over 10% of the total cost just for maintenance that we could defer or been prevented if we keep up with it. So my question is, we have a facility and fleet supervisor, right?
Yes, we now have one.
This should be falling into this.
And it's going to. We are now going to be, and I don't mean to cut you off, but we are going to now be keeping track of the maintenance. We're going to be uploading whatever has been done to it prior. Before, we did not have a fleets supervisor or facility supervisor that's going to be on top of it.
And understood. And once again, this is another one that just fell on your lap. We get that. But when we start looking at numbers, and yes, the cost is going to be split, we understand that. But we shouldn't be getting to this point where this vehicle is out of service because of maintenance. Because we should have a maintenance program. I guarantee you, everybody here in their vehicle, whether it's yourself or your spouse is saying, hey, you need to take that vehicle to get an oil change. And then, hey, you get an oil change. Hey, you got a belt that's how you need brakes. You need this. Well, get it done. Why are we not doing it to that, to these vehicles? Doesn't matter who's driving it. I guarantee you, fire, they drive that vehicle every morning. I guarantee you they're walking around that vehicle, making sure all the lights are on, all the lights work, all the stuff is getting tested. Every morning there's an inspection. Kind of like these, there should be an inspection every day. Anytime these big vehicles are driven, because of the cost behind it. Our patrol units, the same way. Any vehicle that we have should have a process. And what bothers me is the cost. Even though we got to do it, I understand that. But I'd like to see the maintenance records that are associated with this vehicle to see what we're doing and where it's at.
And I can provide you with those because I do have records from Haker of what they provided. However, I have just what's been done from 23. So if anything prior to that had been done, predecessors, anybody, they would have that information. But I can provide you what I actually have in hand to show you the services that have been done to it.
Do we have anything, do we have daily inspections, like whoever drives it has an inspection as to how this was found, or is this was found because Haker found it?
They do inspections. So we do have our dailies. They check the components before they go take them out. And that's how some of the items were caught, to call Haker down to do it. I'm not going to say that we catch everything. Of course, we're going to miss certain items.
Right.
But we do have them check the units before they go out and when they come back in. Because when they use them, of course, they have to clean them. They have to make sure the components are there. That's how we know some of the reels aren't working. That's how Haker gets called down for hydraulic or a hose. But I can, if approved and moving forward with our large units such as this, we can implement the programs of potentially a 360 annual inspection and do our own additional inspections and just ensure before we get to a point where we're hitting an excessive amount of request, we can catch it beforehand.
Understood. So I think I'd like to see some maintenance reports before we do anything, before we move this forward, to see where it's at.
You want to continue it?
Yeah.
But do we need it? I mean,
No, we have a second one. They with the Peterbilt's up and running, correct?
The Peterbilt is, yes, just if we have,
This is the backup, James.
They both, right now, they're both getting used frequently, especially when we have the water leak. So, yeah, I can get you those. However, we do have the Peterbilt, but some of the components, if we don't potentially address them, they are a little more urgent than some of the minor components. And that's, as we had mentioned, the hydraulics, the reels, the hoses, those are the major items.
So I'd like to see the reports, honestly. Oh, I'd make a motion to table this.
As it's gonna be tabled or pushed, I just want to clarify or confirm, we're still allowed to use the unit, and if we do have an issue, then we're gonna treat it as an emergency. I just want to make sure that I can have my staff still utilize the Kenworth.
But why are we gonna use a Kenworth if we got a Peterbilt?
Because at times we might need both of them, because the units are, right now, the fact that we have two of them, it kind of makes it easy when we're sharing between streets, water, and wastewater. If at any time wastewater needs it and water needs it, and we're pulling the Kenworth off, then we're down to one unit, and it's gonna be either rock, paper, scissors, or flip a coin of who's gonna get the Peterbilt.
I mean, we did a long time without them. We did a long time with just one. Did a lot of years with one.
So to confirm, pull the Kenworth off of operation.
Dude, but my thing is, I want to see the records for this.
Well, they've never done nothing to it, and it's been since 2013, and that's a lot of shit going through there with acids that's eating everything up.
Right.
So, 40,000 isn't that bad.
No, but it's more than 10% of
And
the
then-
cost. And if there's
That would
nothing
cover-
being done, James, that's a lot of money that we're pushing out for something that's not being done. It's like you're,
I think this request is for future maintenance, not, while I agree, I would like to see the records. I don't think that by approving this to allow them to maintain it from this point forward, knowing what hasn't been done in the past isn't going to change that.
We didn't have a maintenance director till, I don't know how, like 6 months ago.
it's all fell back onto whoever.
This has been
fell back to public
since we
works.
bought it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll tell you what my big concern is we purchased this new back in 2013 and there was no maintenance on it. Didn't we have a maintenance agreement or a maintenance or warranty of some type that we allowed to expire?
These are
when we-
wear items.
Yeah. It seems like I would be, as part of that reporting, I'd be curious to know, was any of this work that needed to be done, could it have been covered by a warranty if we had
And I believe
acted on it?
And I believe some of the components were covered under warranty when we had it. I don't know exactly off the top of my head what the warranty was when we originally bought it. However, that warranty now is gone. They don't offer extended warranties because I made sure to ask with these repairs. With this, we will get at least a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, and in that time, the tech would come down if we do have an issue. And just to kind of push it a little further is we do have the Peterbilt. However, that is used by our collections crew almost daily. So if that one is being utilized, and again, if we do have some kind of leak issue, it's going to be, we don't take care of it, or we wait till
We're
wastewater
doing
is done.
inspections on the new one too, right? At dailies.
Yes. Those trucks are inspected daily.
So you know our concerns.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know that we would like the records, if there's any in inspections in the past. On,
And
or,
yeah, I
or
do have
whatever
those, and I'll
repair
provide
work has
those.
been done on it since 2013, moving forward till now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a motion right now for a continuance. Do I have a second? Seeing none. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second it if I can add the caveat that by the next meeting, I'd like to see those reports.
Yes, absolutely.
As Councilmember Amparano has said, I think there needs to be some accountability and information being brought forward. I don't think having that information provided to us is going to change the fact that we need to get this done. But
Understood.
I think that he makes a very valid point that I would like to know in the past what has been done and where we fell short.
So there's an amendment to D3, approving the Hager equipment to provide repair services for the 2013 Vector, also with the records to be brought forth to council. Do you need a motion? May I have a second on that, the amended motion?
I
Second,
made a
James?
motion or a second, I can, whatever you need.
James made a second. Please vote.
I did.
He
I
with-
think because I
Yeah,
changed
you with
it,
an
I
amendment,
became the motion.
James
He
became the
the
second, and now we're voting.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Wait,
Now it goes.
okay, so motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Thank you, Janelle. D4, approval to establish a police recruit job description. Ms. Kristen.
Good evening. Before you tonight is a request to establish the police recruit job description. The position is a strategic recruitment tool designed to secure local talent by hiring high-performing students currently enrolled in the Imperial Valley College Public Safety Academy. The law enforcement market is increasingly competitive, and by creating this non-sworn part-time role, we can bridge the recruitment gap by targeting candidates who have already completed post levels 2 and 3 and are currently in level 1 courses. This allows us to lock in qualified individuals and transition them from into full-time police officer positions immediately upon graduation. Every recruit will be required to pass the same full background check, polygraph exam, and psychological evaluation required by our sworn officers before they are hired. And this is a budget-neutral request. The position would be an at-will part-time and not eligible for city-paid benefits or retirement. Only filled when a full-time police officer vacancy exists. And by using the existing allocation for a full-time position, which would be range 76, we would be filling a part-time position at range 66. Therefore, we would be able to successfully recruit highly qualified applicants with no additional impact to the general fund. We recommend your approval to ensure that the Imperial Police Department remains competitive and fully staffed with locally invested talent. And thank you, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
It's exciting. Look forward to it.
I like the fact that we're looking here. Absolutely.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. D5, the approval of the revised job description for the organic waste specialist and replace the current job description by Ms. Kristen Smith.
Hello again. Before you is a request to approve and adopt the revised job description for the organic waste specialist position, replacing the current job description. And for this reason, as the needs of the community development department have evolved, we've identified a need to broaden the administrative scope of the job description for the role by adding 2 key functions to ensure that the position better serves the department and the public through duties related to administrative and customer support and regulatory compliance. This position is fully budgeted for fiscal year 25-26. There is 26. What year are we at? 25, 26. We're working on budget, so my fiscal years are all off. But there's no additional fiscal impact to the city as the salary remains at the same established range. And we're simply enhancing the duties to maximize the value of the role. We recommended that council approve and adopt the revised job description to ensure our staff has the clear authority and direction needed to support our departmental operations and environmental goals. Thank you, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Kristen, Ms. Smith, is this still being funded by the state partially?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It is partially, half grant funded, 50%.
And how much longer do we have on that grant?
I will.
We apply for that grant every year, so until funds run out. So hopefully we continue because the enforcement doesn't stop. So fingers crossed.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
I think the only concern it's minor, but I agree that maybe we need to have that person, if they're going to be in your office assisting your staff. But I would be concerned that that would be taken to be where you're going to start utilizing that person more as to assist your staff than to do what the job isn't there for, the
Correct.
organic
No,
waste.
no, that's not the intent of that language.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, James.
Got it.
Have a second. Going once. We have a second by Ms. Stacy. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, discussion and review of a letter of demand regarding alleged Brown Act violations by our attorney.
Thank you very much. There's quite a bit of backup enclosed, which I know everyone's had a chance and it's posted on the website to review it. But to give an overview, Mr. Rucci has talked about it in the press, also sent us this letter saying that during the last 6 months, we made mistakes or we violated the law under the Brown Act. I address each and every one of the issues, and it is not accurate. But for the sake of avoiding unnecessary litigation, I just want to give a brief summary of it. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna get a drink. Sorry. So there's basically 4 different topics. The first one is he talks about a data center workshop. We never had one, so no action there. The second one is the reclaimed water agreement, and we did not do that and have taken no action. There's none. So that resolves that. You'll see in my declaration that we reported out correctly every single time. The legal reasoning is in there. And then fourth, on the hiring of Aileen Tabor, our outside counsel, we did it properly through Dennis Morita. But just to avoid any issues, I would like to request that you vote on the 2 issues that are listed, number 1 and number 2.
So number 1 being that we did not have a data center workshop. Is that correct?
Oh, no, we don't need to vote on those. There's just no response. I guess we could vote on that. Did we host a data center workshop? If you could vote on that.
I think the confusion
Yeah.
is you're calling number 1 and number 2. In our report, number 1.
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
number 1
workshop.
is the workshop. So let's vote on that. Did we have a data center workshop? Let's just get it on the record for
That's
Mr.
what I was
Rucci.
aware of.
We have
Yeah.
not had a workshop.
No.
And
Okay,
I'll-
if you can take
I'll-
a vote,
I'll
yeah.
make the motion to say that we did not have a workshop.
Am I allowed to second that? Because I'd
Oh,
like to
yes.
second that.
Yes, please.
So I have a first and a second. Do you want to do a roll call on number 1?
Yes, I will do a roll call vote on that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Amparano,
I guess the answer would be yes, right?
Yes, we did not have one.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did not have one.
Councilmember Tucker,
Yes, we did not have one.
Like a double negative.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza,
Yes.
and Mayor Obesa Martinez.
Correct, yes.
And the motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. And then the second one is about CEQA litigation. I'm following the right numbers now. I would like this council to vote and report out whether you support or accept and ratify all the actions that we have taken in filing the litigation and in the way that we've reported it out.
So is it okay to read, you recommended transparent action to avoid the necessary litigation. You recommend that this council take the action to ratify and openly vote to approve all actions associated with the filings of the City of Imperial versus Imperial Valley Computer Manufacturing LLC at all Imperial County Superior Court, case number ECU 004457.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
So what would be the proper, just.
A
I'll make the
vote,
motion
a
to approve.
motion to approve it the way that Ida read it. Yes.
As reported.
No, second.
Thank you. So
Roll call vote would be Councilmember Amparano,
Yeah.
Councilmember Tucker,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza,
Yes.
and Mayor Obesa Martinez.
yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Great. And the third one is associated with hiring outside expert counsel, which was done at the city manager level. And also, so I would like, we didn't violate any rules, but to ensure that we are not getting sued for unnecessary actions, I recommend that you take action to ratify the actions of the city manager in hiring Aileen and executing the contract that's set forth in Exhibit 3.
I'll entertain a motion.
I will make the motion, but can I just put it on record that our city manager has the authority
They
to
do.
hire without
Yep.
council's action,
Yes.
but to keep it.
I'll
So
second.
Yeah.
make it very clear. Yes,
Have a
we're
first-
supporting the fact that he did his job.
Correct.
We have a motion by Ms. Stacy, a second by James.
Correct. Councilmember Amparano,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza,
Yes.
and Mayor Obesa Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Can I also make it known that we do not have a reclaimed water agreement?
Yeah, that's number 4. We're going to do that one out loud as well.
Thank you.
So the reclaimed water agreement, he claims that we talked about in open session or closed session and took action to either approve or deny a reclaimed water agreement. My recommendation is that you vote that there is no action that's been taken and there is no reclaimed water agreement at this time.
Just for the public, if there was an agreement, it would come before council. You see us concerned over 45,000, we would be concerned over a water agreement. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second.
Councilmember Alvarado?
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza?
Yes.
And Mayor Obeso Martinez?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
And just to, before I conclude it, I want to make it very clear that we've followed the law the entire time. The justification is in the backup. When you have ongoing litigation, if it will impact your ability to serve a party, if there's an impact to settle with a party, it's written right into the law. We reviewed all of our actions. We did do them correctly. But we are all aware from the press and the demands and how it's being talked about that Mr. Rucci will sue at any opportunity. So under the Brown Act, you have 30 days to fix anything that someone thinks is a problem. I don't think it's a problem, but I'm going above and beyond to ensure that we're not going to face additional litigation over this. So I appreciate your cooperation.
I appreciate the transparency of this council and all the hard work that we are doing, especially you, Katie and Dennis,
Thank you.
in these cases. So thank you.
To support the community, especially.
Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. Moving on to reports. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Department reports. Mr. Mora, would you like to report out?
Yes, real quick on SR 86, shrubs, trees and boulders have been installed. It's looking better and better week by week. We're working our way up all the way to 15. We're trying to stay away from the upcoming traffic from the fair. So that's what we started on 2nd Street. So and the flashing beacon poles are here. They're installing them. So we're almost at the end tail of the project.
So what's the next step?
Striping. Once.
No, on the median.
Oh,
So boulders, we see trees, brush, shrubs.
DG. That's the
So
final.
it's we covered with DG.
Yes, we'll be covered with DG. That's it.
Looks nice. Look forward to it.
I'm excited. Miss Janelle.
Just an update on our manhole project. You guys might have seen them crews out there. They were raising the manholes and then they're going to start coating them on Monday. But we have no more road closures. You'll just see crews out there coating, but traveling public is open and free to go.
Are we raising them or who's raising them?
So that was Rove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've already done the raising of those.
I know we bought a machine to do that. To raise the manholes.
She just got here. Yeah, give her a minute. Well, got here in this position, I should say.
Poor Janelle.
And that's it for public services.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez?
So just kind of to expand on the next steps, I did a walkthrough of SR 86 and that just kind of to create a punch list as we go along projects. Things are that we see are still needing to be done. They are going to lay out a pre-emergent, which is a spray on of weeds before they lay the fabric. Then it's going to be a gravel mulch, kind of like a gravel. Then there's going to be a where there's no curbing setback of smaller decorative gravel, so it's not in the roadway and get caught by traffic that's passing by as it becomes loose. So those are the steps that I kind of went through on the walk through today this morning. So just kind of give you a more detailed on that project, but it's looking really nice. It would look a lot nicer once it's complete. So they did a really good job. There's still some things they need to do, but they're trucking along. Super excited to. My guys are super excited to take that over. By the way.
Yeah.
I'm excited to report that for Carnival we had about a little over 2,500 additional attendees
From last time.
compared to last year. So I think as you get an event established and people recognize it, it becomes something that they know that to mark on their calendars and attend. So I'm excited to to kind of with the competing of the Carrot Festival and all that glamour in Holtville, we were still able to keep numbers in the city of Imperial, and people really like to come out and enjoy the free things that we offer.
It's very nice.
In a time where things are costing a lot more, it's good to have to the city offer that to the community as well.
The rides were a hit.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing that I'm excited to announce with the support of the city manager and the city council, the press release that was for the regional park, the $1.5 million. Tommy, Dennis, all of you guys supported that to be submitted as a project to be funded. It got passed through all the hurdles that, are at the higher level. So we have that. We're just waiting for the big sweepstakes check that we're right. And that would, instead of using monies from other sources, we would use that now to go through the feasibility, master planning, and design process to ensure that in the future, as funding becomes available, anybody can take that project over. Whether it's not me in the future, somebody can come in. There'll be a blueprint for that to move forward.
Are you trying to tell us something, Tony?
No. I am excited to when we have our workshop with council for budget, that money coming in will free up other monies to do much needed projects on parks that are basins. So drain tile project and those things are becoming more of a reality. We'll update you guys during the workshop with council but that frees up funding for those sorts of things. So I'm excited to announce that. That is a very good news for Parks and Rec for at least being able to do more projects this year.
Yes, a big thank you to Senator Schiff and Congressman Dr. Raul Reese for those monies. I'm really excited that we got that. In these trying times, that's a big win.
We have also Blues Brews Barbecue, March 21st, 5 to 9 downtown. Our Mayor Pro Tem hopefully will
Oh, he's ready.
and
You got announced.
our Grand Marshal will be also sitting alongside you, trying out some barbecue. So
I just wish you guys luck.
You're gonna be so
I enjoyed
cool.
it last time.
we have all that. That's one of probably, if not the biggest, one of the biggest events we have downtown. We have a movie at the park this Friday at Cambria too. So if you guys are in the area or live close by, bring your family and friends and come.
Can you say where Cambria is for people who don't know?
Cambria is off of Alexandria, I believe, and it's in the Victoria subdivision.
Thank you.
And we have, I think, we'll be putting up a map
Okay.
where kind of gives you a directional guide to get there. We've had that question asked on social media, so we will clarify for the public.
We have a lot of parks, which is amazing, but then people are like, where is that park at? I'm like, I don't know, let me find out too.
Well, you'd be surprised how close people live sometimes to the park, and they don't really.
Give me notes there.
So
Yeah.
we'll clarify that map for the public before Friday.
Thank you.
Hopefully, the weather holds up for us to have it.
Yeah.
Fair time, you know those.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Mr. Estrada.
Nothing to report this tonight, but if any question, more happy to answer.
Thank you. Chief Real.
Councilmember Mendoza mentioned fair. There is going to be traffic interruptions, so plan accordingly when it comes to our folks and the general public. Hopefully can mitigate traffic accidents down to 0 this year. Other than that, have a great day.
Thank you. Chief Lancer.
Good evening. So the new engine is undergoing graphics design, so striping, reflective striping, which is a standard regulation that it have on there for night vision. So we're working on that, and so it's a step closer. Just the little things now.
Mr. Manriquez.
Nothing at this time. That's right.
Smith, anything else to report?
Nothing from me tonight, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Garcia.
Nothing to report, but just to pass on, I know the council's aware there's a ribbon cutting for Insight traffic control tomorrow here in Imperial on Imperial Avenue. And as we know too, Station West has been open for a couple of weeks, also on Imperial Avenue. So it's great to see some new businesses coming in. And just remind everyone to support our local business owners, especially those small business owners.
Yeah, we're very excited. A couple businesses are opening up here. Mr. Marita?
Yes, Madam Mayor, nothing from me this evening.
Okay. Ms. Shields, anything to report?
I have nothing to add, thank you.
Mr. James?
No, thank you.
Mr. Robert?
Just want to say I had a good time at Carnaval. It was nice to see, good music, good atmosphere, a lot of people, good weather. Weather was great. Just hats off to all the staff, all the help, everybody that involved. So saw the cleanup going on Highway 86. I know this wind brings a lot of stuff, so I do appreciate seeing all that hard work that goes into it. But just want to say thank you guys for everything you guys do for the city.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem?
Since our last meeting, we had the opportunity to attend the Wings of Excellence Gala at the Old Eucalyptus and put on by the Imperial Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. They always put on a wonderful event, and it was an honor to be there to see our servicemen, or servicewomen in this case. All of the recipients were women this year. Receive their awards for the hard work that they put in honor of our country, and I truly enjoyed it, and spending time with council members and seeing other representatives from around the county. And then, as Councilmember Aparana said, I was able to attend the Carnival, and as always, our staff did an amazing job. It was, I think last year we had the one ride. This year there was 3. The lines were insane. It was fun to see all the kids having such a great time, and seeing the adults walking around and visiting our vendors and enjoying some good music, good food. And thank you to all the staff for all the hard work that was put in on that. And that's it.
Ditto what she said about the air show gala. And then we had a chance to plant a tree in honor of our former, well, now passed on, but Robert Emmett. So that was a really beautiful memorial, and I was so happy to see the family and most of the staff there. So thank you for that. That was very touching to see that. So thank you. Our next meeting is Wednesday, March 4th at 7-ish. We're going back into closed. Thank you.